Hi everyone, it's Dave here with a sponsored message. Our sponsor this week is Studio Headphones. They're a Swedish headphone manufacturer. They make really sleek, nicely designed headphones. They've got a great range. The ones they've sent me are the Tre, T-R-E. They're sort of designed for people with an active lifestyle. That's, believe it or not, is me. When I'm not cinemiling, I'm trying to go to the gym every now and then. And, you know, I use the treadmill a lot, and headphones always fall out for me. You know, they slip out from sweat or whatever. This is getting really gross now. But these are sweat-proof, and they've got these little wing tips to sort of that insert into your ear, and genuinely never once fell out. These are the best pair of headphones I've ever used at the gym. And we've got a discount for all of you lovely listeners. So if you head to studio.com, you'll get 15% off if you type in the code CINEMILE at checkout. And they do free worldwide delivery, and you get a free tote bag with every purchase. And now on with the episode. Hi, it's Dave, and I'm here with my wife, Cathy.
Hello.
And we're joined by special guest to my left, Cathy's mother, Linda.
Oh, hello.
So we're all sat here on the couch. It's Friday night. It's otherwise known as the night before the royal wedding.
Which, we have to say, none of us care about the royal wedding.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, Mum?
I flew specially in for the royal wedding.
Okay.
Oh, is that why you're here?
Absolutely.
I was wondering why you were
Absolutely.
here.
British soil. I would not have missed it.
But Mom actually is a fan of the soon-to-be royal bride because Mom is a big fan of suits.
Yeah, I have to confess, I had a bit of a girl crush on Meghan long before she ever met Harry, so I admire his taste in women. But mostly, yeah, I've been a very loyal Suits fan, and I've always liked her. So yeah, I could say more about Suits because I've watched the last few episodes, but we won't say it now.
Anyway,
Yeah, we're going to review the entirety of Suits.
I can give you a
Just
synopsis.
I've had a brainstorm because there was this movie that went off on Twitter the other night. Okay, we need to say first of all, Mom is a little bit interested in Meghan. Dave and I do not care about the royal wedding. We've no interest in it. But
Yet here we are.
Because this week an unexpected movie went off on Twitter globally to the point where people were hysterically live tweeting it, and it's called Harry and Meghan, A Royal Romance, and it's a Lifetime movie. Now I'll tell you the synopsis: the captivating love story of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from the moment they met and their transatlantic romance to their stunning engagement and beyond.
Stunning.
Now
Beyond starts tomorrow.
Yeah, Beyond.
Yeah, Beyond hasn't happened yet.
So I read some really funny tweets on this.
Is this movie going to invent? Does it go far into the future?
I hope so. I read some really funny tweets on
man
this.
has gone before.
So I'll read the tweets afterwards, after we've watched it for the laugh. I'll read you guys some of them.
Okay.
And we're going to do a very brief review because I have to say I'm a big fan of Lifetime movies and I've always wanted to do one on the podcast. So this feels like a timely time to do one.
Are you really a big fan of Lifetime movies?
I love Lifetime movies.
What Lifetime movies have you watched?
I can't
watched
name
that
any
Liz
of them.
Taylor one with Lindsay Lohan. That was
Loved
dreadful.
that one.
What? How could you love
they're
that?
always so bad, they're good. They always do
Yeah.
Christmas movies that I quite enjoy. It's just one of those things that you sit down and watch them and suddenly 2 hours have passed and you've laughed your head off basically. They made one a couple of years ago about William and Kate, which I never watched, but apparently they couldn't get those actors back for this one. Now I've looked up images of the actors in this one playing Harry and Meghan, and basically she looks exactly like Meghan and then he's just like ginger.
Couldn't she have just played herself?
Yeah, I'm sure she would play herself actually.
Yeah, she's an actress, isn't she? She could play
yeah.
anyone.
I bet you her father is playing himself.
Yeah.
Oh, satire.
Snap. Right, we're not a tabloid podcast. We'll see you after the disclaimer, which says, although this motion picture is based upon actual events, certain composite and representative scenes, characters, incidents and locations have been created for the purpose of dramatization, and any similarity thereof to the name, character or history of any person, living or dead, or any actual event is entirely coincidental and unintentional.
So does this mean that the character called Meghan will have nothing to do with the person who's getting married tomorrow?
It's
hope
just
so.
that's
It's
just
just a
another
coincidence.
woman called Meghan who's marrying a member of a
royal family, and he'll be called
Larry and
Harry.
Tegan.
Larry and
Right, bye.
I literally can't wait. Are you trying to cut me off here, Cathy?
No.
Okay, bye.
She does that to me all the time. I'm so glad you're here to back me
Glad
up.
I stood up for us. Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Never have fun?
Peter Pan can't stay Neverland forever. The marriage isn't so bad.
There goes my heart.
And Meghan.
Harry, you look Lovely.
She's American, she's divorced.
Is it true about you and Prince Harry?
Are you ready for this?
She makes me happy, so to hell with tradition.
All right, so we watched that movie. What's it called? What's
It's called When Harry Met Meghan.
no, which should have been called that.
It's called Harry and Meghan, a royal romance.
That's the longest. How long was that? 90 minutes? That's the longest.
It was 900 minutes.
That was, oh my god! I wanted to turn it off so many times.
But we all really enjoyed it at the same.
Yeah.
We were like simultaneously snarking at it and slagging it off, and then loving it.
It's a weird feeling because at the end of it they show. We're going to cut right to the end.
Right
here.
to the spoilers.
yeah. Not too fast, as if anyone's going to watch this. Also, spoilers, they're getting married tomorrow. So at the very end of this, they cut to like the real life pictures of Harry and Meghan meeting people. And I realised, because it's like being brainwashed. I spent 90 minutes like with this absolutely terrible tick off every cliche in the book rom-com love story, and I realised, like, looking at these pictures of Harry and Meghan at the end of it, I was like, oh, I love Harry and Meghan now. And I was like, wait, what the fuck has this happened to me?
I'm like, why do they look different now? Now, Mom, admit it. What were you playing for the whole movie on your phone?
No, I admit nothing.
You didn't. You were on your phone.
I had a little bit of a side thing going on with a little game of join two dots on my phone, so that kind of kept me mentally engaged while this thing was playing.
I'd say the movie was the side thing for you.
The movie was the side, but interesting. A bit like you said, Dave. Like at the end, okay, sure, that's the only thing I know is absolutely true. They're getting married tomorrow.
Yeah, no, to be fair, they
I don't know but we don't know how much of this was absolutely made up. There was like weird little
but they were very clear at the beginning that this the events of this movie may reflect on some people,
but then again they're
all
not
fictional. It's like
so anyway, somebody made up a backstory with these two characters, and she looked like Meghan Markle. He looked like some sort of a cross between Andy Murray and and who's that Ed Sheeran. He was kind of like a red-headed Andy Murray, and things happened and they fell in love and they had stories, and then it ends up with them getting married. So that much we know.
Well, they didn't show the wedding, actually. I reckon they should have done the whole wedding thing as well, like preempted the real one, like just to snatch the ratings off them.
No, because it might have ended up actually better than the real wedding. Well, no doubt. Like,
but do you think, right, like this is like the week leading up to their wedding, do you think they sat down and watched this Lifetime movie and live tweeted it?
Yeah, Harry and Meghan.
I mean, I'd watch a movie based on our marriage.
I think I would as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to resist.
I think definitely you would watch it.
Yeah.
You might have no
because
comment
there's a lot
on
of
it.
stuff on, like there's loads of stuff on TV about them at the moment, but it's all documentary style, you know. This is like the only kind of, to my knowledge, fictionalized account of their relationship. And to be fair, they've spent a bit of money on it. Like the scenes in Botswana looked real. Like it looked like they were there. It didn't look like a set to me.
Yeah, and we saw them on the set of Suits. I don't know. I mean, I attempted to watch the Diana movie. It just is. It's lost on me. These movies.
Yeah.
They just, because they're based on real people that you know. They don't work for me. I don't.
I agree. Biopics are one of my least favorite genres. They're just there's lacking when you know a story.
Now, let's be clear, none of us know anything about these two in terms of we don't know what's real or not.
Yeah, we knew it was going to end up.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, Lifetime movies are a cliche for a reason, because they're renowned for biopics and also just soap opera acting and like
but this
tick the box cliches.
Probably felt like one of the best ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, to be fair, she was
big shout out for her.
She was brilliant. I thought she's an excellent actress.
She was good.
I don't even know her name, the woman who plays Meghan Markle, but she was really, really good. Like she had some, like, I really bought into her. I thought she had some great scenes. If you take her, give her some better material, she's a quality actress. The guy who played Harry, not so much. And then it's like a sliding scale from there. Oh, Will and Kate are dreadful.
absolutely my favourite thing.
This is Mara. I wrote down some lines I really like.
God,
Okay,
yeah.
so at one.
First of all, we need to say Will and Kate, who are actually younger than Meghan Markle in real life, are basically portrayed as like these old cronies, right? Aren't they? Who just hang around in every scene, making faces and kind of, you know, being like, "Ew, well, if Heart is happy, we're happy."
Okay.
And I'm a commoner.
I don't know. I don't know who any of these actresses are or whether any of them are British, but I seriously doubt it because the British accents in this movie are fucking nonsense.
And also, did you know William and Kate's kids were American?
Yeah, they had American
they
accents. Everybody in this movie sounded like Peter Dinklage in Game of Thrones.
It was bad.
What am I supposed to do? So Will, when Harry tells Will that he's dating Meghan Markle, he sits down with him and he says, "She seems like quite the actress. Kate and I binge watched Suits over the weekend." And then Kate says, "Harry, whatever you do, you have to be happy. If she's your girl, she can't have opinions."
What?
Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting.
And also, William, in one of their kind of early scenes where they're setting up the dynamic between William and Harry, Harry calls William a ponce, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, they have this weird sort of brotherly banter, which maybe I'm actually going to finish the episode. I recorded that clip because it was so terrible, and it'll give you a sense of the accents. So hang on to the end of this episode.
Oh, I've just realised I did recognise the actress. So her name is Parisa Fitzhenley, and she's in Midnight Texas, which I've watched a bit of, which is a TV show, and she was in 3 episodes of Luke Cage apparently, and she's in 3 episodes of Jessica Jones. She's a good actress.
No, she was good. Now, I don't know who released this, and I don't know when it got released. Is it just released this week?
Lifetime this week.
I mean, I think it's not a surprise, and who knows whether the royal family are behind it, but certainly has me rooting for their marriage to work. I knew nothing, and I had no investment, and even though like all the bits in between seem to be made up, I have to admit I knew a lot about the spots, and I knew like bits of the stories about her brother and her family, so obviously stuff and gossip does seep through, and this kind of took all that and put a slant on it, so it feels like a bit of a propaganda movie as well, and I'm certainly rooting for them, whereas in fact I had no interest in them prior to this evening.
Lifetime being clever and cashing in on like the fact that people don't want to watch
There's no way the royal family are behind this. Come on, you're like that's like the moon landing was done by Stanley Kubrick, Clint. You think the Queen was on set of this movie, like in the shadows, like she's like silhouetted, and she's like, more close up on Harry.
On the 40s.
But you're talking about the moon landing. I actually believe they're actually now proved that the world is flat.
Have they? Yes.
Right, we need to talk. You can't really talk about this movie in broad terms because it's so silly. You have to get right down to specifics. So this is the stuff I want to talk about.
Okay.
Now, apparently they were set up by somebody according to this movie, and when they're being set up, Meghan says about Harry, "Is he nice?" And Harry says, "Is she hot?" So they're the 2 questions they have to ask. Then their first date's a joke. I won't even get into it. Then when he's relaying all of this to William says, "You Botswana'd her." And then Kate's like, "She's American." And then this is a really like a genuinely interesting scene where Meghan's talking about what it was like growing up to be mixed race in America and like all the cultural implications of that, and how she always struggled to fit in you know, her white family and her black family and with her siblings and all the rest of it. And then Prince Harry's like, "Yeah, but I'm ginger," and he starts making ginger jokes and telling her how sad his life was. Then somebody says to her, "You don't want to end up as Royal Road."
Finding high-quality mental health care can be daunting and exhausting. That's why Cerebral offers convenient access to online mental health services, including therapy and medication management. Cerebral's diverse clinician team can help with anxiety, depression, insomnia, stress, grief, big life changes, and more. You can schedule and communicate with your care team through Cerebral's mobile app and attend your sessions from the comfort of your own home. Get started with or without insurance. Plus, you can now use FSA or HSA. Start your first month for 50% off at Cerebral.com/ACAST.
Which I thought was a bit on the nose. And then she's trying to be this empowered woman.
That's a horrible phrase.
I know.
Particularly considering the...
Exactly. And she says, it's glass ceilings for me, not glass slippers. And then my favourite line of dialogue was...
That's good writing.
Yeah, but not really, like... Because at the end of the day, she ends up giving her career up to marry a prince.
If I wrote that line, I'd be happy for it.
Somebody, I think it's Harry, says, I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. That's what happens when you never forget something. You don't forget it for the rest of your life. And then my really favourite bit was Harry gets this disgusting bracelet, like the kind you'd like make for your mom when you're like 8 at an arts and crafts fair. Friendship bracelet. And he gives...
Do you still have the one she made for you when she was 8?
I do.
And Harry gives it to her and he says, whenever I see you on Instagram or you see me on the pages of Tatler, we'll know that we're thinking of each other. It's like, really? Is that how you would know that? Anyway, they're kind of the things that I think are really weird and funny about it. Also, they go to a fancy dress party where he's dressed as Kermit the Frog, i.e. the frog that's going to turn into a prince. She's dressed as Hillary Clinton.
Oh, that's very clever, Cathy.
No, I actually Google imaged it to see if that was a real thing. Apparently it's completely made up.
Completely made up.
Yeah.
This movie is genius.
Yeah.
I want to go back to my conspiracy theories and my propaganda, because they went to great pains in this movie to say that she wasn't made to give up her career and everybody's behind her being an actress. And he even moved to Canada, to Toronto in this movie to support her as she was being an actress. And then she suddenly came up with this decision to quit because she was inspired by some 5-year-old girl. So it's really making out like the whole royal family was behind her having her own life, which of course we all very much doubt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're actually talking me around to this conspiracy theory. It's starting to make sense.
The producer at the end said Prince Charles and Camilla. And there's a scene
it said PC and Sea Dog.
There's a scene in it where Prince Harry turns to Prince Charles and Camilla and says, why could you two never have just been married in the first place? You should have been allowed to do whatever you want. And they're like, because you would never have been born then.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
Was that the part where Dave was crying?
Yeah.
That piece. That was so beautiful.
There were a few moments that kind of got to me. This movie kind of won me over at a few points. Basically, because it was just playing in every tried and tested rom-com cliche territory. Like, there was an airport chase.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
There was a 360 whirlwind kiss. Like, everything.
That was like a shot from The Bachelor.
I'm kind of a sucker for, like, the classic rom-com stuff. But
the best was the video call where she said, "This won't work. You're over there, I'm over here. Wait, I need to answer my door," and it's him at the door.
Yeah, of course.
On his video call.
And it's
Hi.
like, I'm just outside. But so yeah, it did win me over at moments. But then, like, the next scene, I was like, oh God, why is this movie still on? Because it was an excruciating 90 minutes, and nobody should watch it. The music was terrible. It was this heavy-handed piano. I think Lifetime movies are just... They're worse than regular biopics, because the best biopics, and I don't like biopics, but the best ones tend to take an angle on something or have something to say. So we saw Jackie last year, about Jackie Onassis, and that was set within the week, just 1 week immediately after JFK's death, and it was just about her. And Natalie Portman was amazing, and it was quite well done. But this is your bargain basement biopic, where it's just a series of chronological events from beginning to end, from them meeting to them getting engaged to them getting married, and then just fill in the gaps with what might have happened. It occasionally touches on having something to say about privilege and the royal family's potential problems with Meghan being African American and having been divorced, but it doesn't really tackle any of that with any. With any, it has nothing to say. It's totally shallow.
But as part of that, they've nothing to say because nobody knows. Because
it's all speculation.
It's all speculation.
And also, it may not even be about Meghan and Harry, as the title card said.
It could be about any couple. But yeah, it's a funny thing watching it because it's a movie. It's a biopic made in the middle of somebody's life, which doesn't really make sense. Like, you know what I mean? They haven't even gotten married yet.
It's not a retrospective.
Yeah.
It hasn't even unfolded.
It's just a proposal.
And none of it's believable. Like the Queen Mother, or the Queen, she's the Queen, her announcement, none of it's believable.
Yeah, none of it. And they actually,
yeah. Her line was, she gathers, so the Queen gathers, she's
staff.
just given her blessing, she's gathered her staff, and the staff look like bargain basement costumes, sort of military types, like fancy dress, like people wearing like medals, and there's loads of Downton Abbey cast, and there's like 40 of them, and they're standing over, and she says, "I'm here to make an announcement. My grandson William Henry of the Prince of Nottingham, is about to marry an African-American divorcee actress."
You just want such an Irish accent.
and I'm absolutely fine with it. What are we having for tea? It was like, come on.
Yeah.
As if she ever said
and
that.
then she says, "And I can't wait to have more grandkids to hug."
No, for a jolly good hug. Like, this is like the whole... like the British perspective of this movie was definitely through an American lens. You could tell there was like none. Like, we live in Britain. It doesn't show here.
Well, it's an American company. Like, it's American network. They have an English channel which aired it here as well, but it aired after it aired in the States.
I think that's an interesting point, because from what I know of the royal family and the British sort of tradition around it, is they are discreet, they are quiet. There wouldn't have been any of these blazing announcements, and it will be a big celebration tomorrow for people, because a lot of people do care, are interested, and I'm actually happy enough to be part of that buzz. There will be a bit of cheer, and why not?
Yeah, except that, like you said, the royal family are behind this whole thing.
I was just trying to put a good slant on this.
I'm just disappointed we don't get a bank holiday for it, to be honest.
I know. I
will wish them well. That's all I'll say. I'll wish them well. Even this movie, even though it was all fictional, it did show a couple who are really going to be up against it. All that they're in love right now, they're going to be up against it.
And I actually, from what I've seen of Harry
and William, entirely fictional movie.
It may or may not be about Harry. What I've seen of Harry and William in the public eye, I actually quite respect them as people. I don't really have any respect for the monarchy. I think it's a ridiculous concept, and I don't mean any offense to people. And I'm with you, Linda. And I think good luck to these two people, and good luck to them getting married.
Yeah, but
tomorrow.
Like, first world problems at the end of the day. They're up against it in their entirely privileged lifestyle. We need to talk about the lion.
Oh, the lion. All right, who wants to set it up?
You can set it up.
All right, so at the very beginning of the movie, it opens with Harry and William as children. Their mother has just died, and their father has brought them to Botswana for some reason that I don't remember. And their mother has just died, and Harry is confronted by a lion in Africa. And the lion, they think he's going to attack him, but then he just kind of stares at him and moves away. And then later, Harry tells Meghan how his mother had just died, and he had this moment with this lion, and it sounds silly, but for some reason I just thought it was her staring back at me. And she says, "That's so beautiful," and this is their second date, and blah, 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 blah. And then later, they go back to Botswana for some reason.
Yeah, of course.
Because
he set up a charity there.
Because he set up a charity, and they're doing some charity work, and it's coming up to the eve of his mother's death, coincidentally, and he's very upset. And then they get attacked by another lion.
No, they don't get attacked. The lion just watching them.
The lion comes up to them aggressively, and they think, "Oh, what are we going to do?" But the lion just stops there and stares, and essentially nods. The lion just kind of slowly nods.
It's like Aslan from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
And then they just embrace each other in this moment. I don't even remember, but I would like to think that she whispers to him, "It was her." Which, I mean, a lot of this movie, as the title card said, is fictitious, but I'm honestly convinced that actually happened. And it's true. Or at least the palace wants us to believe it, according to Linda.
I think, like, if we were to get sort of go deep into it, like the young Harry, his mother would have been a big figure and a formidable figure and a lion or a lioness. So I could see how he had this idea of this like, proud animal who would show up and remind him of his mother. And it's interesting because around the time that they sort of started, from what I know, dating, and before it was public, was around the time, wasn't there some sort of a public, there was a lot of stuff on social media, him having a talk with his brother and with Kate around how he had grieved and how he had struggled after the death of his mother. So they're, you know, they are the royal family, but they are real people who grieve. And yeah, this was a bit of a ham-fisted movie, but there's something about the reality of the individuals and the loss and the love. And honestly, I don't think they're going to have it easy.
No, and I think the thing you're referring to is they spoke very candidly on an ITV documentary series last year.
Yeah.
And it was I watched a lot of that, and it's very touching, and it's a real tragedy what happened to those two boys.
Yeah, and it is referenced there by the actress who's playing Meghan. She's saying, "I want to have a career. I want to be a mother, but I also want to have my career." And then this whole thing of, well, we'll work it out. I'm not sure they ever did work it out. It's kind of love in the movie. It's love that brings them to get married. I don't think anything's quite worked out.
Yeah, well,
so
we'll all find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by The Royal Wedding, streaming live to every media broadcast.
We're not watching I'll tell you, I'm not watching The Royal Wedding. I want nothing to do with it.
No, me neither. I'm definitely going to wait for the Lifetime movie version of it 1 year from now.
Apparently Google's live streaming it tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a sucker. I
just Googled this movie to look up the actress, and the first thing that came up was like live stream starts in X amount of hours. Wow.
It kind of brings me back around the year I got married to Cathy's father.
Also podcast guest.
That was we got married the same year as Diane and Charles, and we had Sarah and Cathy around the same time as those two boys. So there was always a bit of a parallel going on. So it's kind of interesting. That royal wedding would have been a huge thing back at the time.
Was it big in Ireland too?
Oh, huge. Yeah, huge. Yeah, I remember we were on holidays in the West Coast, and everybody crammed into some pub watching it on some television live. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see her go up the aisle. I'd like to see them.
How awkward, because you're staying in our house and we won't have it on.
I know. I'll go to the pub. Yeah. So anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We are at the Cinemile on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I apologise. We've had a few drinks, so this is a little bit rambly.
Let's just say this is a bonus episode. Let's post this as a bonus episode. Yeah. Also, welcome back, Dave. You've not been on the last 2 episodes because your better half's been doing the podcast without you.
I've been relegated.
He's been completely dumped. Yeah, he's been completely benched.
Please head to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, and leave us a review. We are we're on all the podcast things. Please subscribe to us. I'm in danger of rambling on forever.
Now what I need to do is get my friend Tessa back on for an extra bonus episode, because we went to see a rom-com last week which we weren't particularly positive about. We've just watched it. Now this is more rom than com though, isn't it? The only laughs in this were kind of us laughing at the movie more than us laughing along with the movie.
The movie tried to be funny a couple of times and it was
it didn't work. But Mom, thank you so much for coming back again.
Yeah, thanks for flying over, Linda.
Yeah,
I flew over to watch this movie.
I have to say, in previous times when I'd come over, I'd be brought to a cinema.
This is much more convenient.
This is much more convenient.
To sit on the couch.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Great to be on the cinema island, sure. Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, and spoiler so far, they got engaged at the end of the movie.
And a toast to the happy.
Are you joking?
Bye.
And I'm afraid Pa is not amused.
It was a private club. I can't even let off steam like any normal person.
I'm not sure any of this is normal. Least of all you. But look, as far as I'm concerned, you carry on. Keep making me smell like a rose.
You do smell like a rose, you cunt. Aren't you bored of being perfect yet?
It's not me that's perfect. It's Kate. I just shove her out there and she makes me look good.
She's the best thing that ever happened to you.